Nation of Fit in 10, welcome to day 63, the beginning of week 10, the final week, the final 7 days. Unbelievable, hard to believe. Still 10% of the challenge, but yeah, I mean, it's really winding down here. If you haven't already, please book your scan, your final scan, that is www.calendly.com/trainonmain. The link is under the general channel in Slack. Today, I'm going to get back to more of your feedback, so let's do that. I'm going to read out this person's feedback, and this next question here is relevant to your next scan, so listen up. The booking, so this person writes, the booking of the scan last week had affected when I could schedule my cardio workout. Not an excuse, just a comment as to why I would miss a cardio, as I usually enjoy cardio workout more than strength training. So it's not hard to get motivated for cardio. This week, I will plan to do my 3 cardios. All right, so I do ask that you do not do any exercise within 24 hours of your scan. However, that doesn't mean you will not do it if it's the only time you can do it. It's a suggestion to avoid it. So if it's the difference between you doing it and not doing it, make sure you do it. The only exception to this would be on your final scan, because it will have, doing your cardio will have, unless you did cardio like right before your scan, like literally you got off the machine and you went and did your cardio right away, you did your scan right away. Cardio is going to make your scan look worse. But you know what? We don't really care so much if your scan is worse in the middle, like if it's a little bit worse. Because ultimately, we really care about the final scan. We want the best final scan we want to show the biggest difference, right? If the scan in the middle, if scan 2 or 3 is not that great, or even if 1 shows as worse, it just allows us to... It doesn't really matter, because we really what we want the biggest difference at the end, right? So it's the last scan that matters the most. So take note of that for your last scan. Name something specific you need help with. This person writes, I don't think there's anything I need help with specifically. My plan is to keep focus on the meal planning and to schedule the workouts. I have to admit, it is getting harder to keep pure on the diet. The cravings for sweets is getting stronger as my carb numbers are reduced. Sometimes fruit just isn't the same as a piece of chocolate or pastry. Perhaps it's not. However, you can get a lot more fruit, especially carbohydrate sparse foods like, let's say, honeydew melon or perhaps berries. You're gonna get a lot more satiety out of things like that than you are out of chocolate or pastry. Remember, the craving in the moment isn't the same if you offset it with something like the berries, or even if you just chug a liter of water. I mean, I realize that that's not it's not really exciting, but the reality is once you do these things, the craving that you have will not be there. So even if in that moment you haven't had anything and you could fit in some chocolate, try to do the berry, try to do an orange, something like that. You can do vegetables if you like. I mean, you get a lot more vegetables out of it. You get a lot more volume. Just remember this, and I realize it's easier said than done, but quite often I would ask myself, I'm gonna eat that, whatever it is, okay, cookie, whatever, just in this case, pastry or chocolate. I eat it, and then what? I've eaten it, it's in my system, and now what? Now I gotta deal with the consequences of that. Remember, especially when you're on a calorie deprived diet, when you're in a calorie deficit, We want to make sure that we get in as much nutrients as possible, because the reality is we are going to be more nutrient deficient because we have less food that we can eat. So we want to eat the most nutrient dense foods, real whole food. Real whole food. More feedback here. When I entered this challenge in January, my goal was to lose a certain amount of weight and a certain amount of inches. I have reached both these goals. Okay, congratulations. That's really, really great to hear. And the challenge isn't even done. I am happy where I am now, and I would like to maintain this weight and body measurements. Hypothetically, if I were to stop the challenge right now, what would I need to do to maintain what I have achieved? Example, I keep eating the same macros and keep doing the three cardios and 3 weight training sessions per week, which is pretty insane. Or is there a less intense method? Okay, so I will get to this in more detail towards the end of this challenge. I realize that we're almost at the end, but I'll address this here briefly. I mean, ultimately, you don't want to change too much. Now, you're in a deficit, and this deficit is causing you to lose. So if you just want to maintain, we could increase your calories, which you'll see when you get your exit strategy. So perhaps we would increase the calories. In terms of the weight training and stuff, I don't know if it's because of the macros that you think it's too intense. Working out 4.5 hours per week, that is the total that you're doing right now. Working out 4.5 hours per week is, I think, 2.6% or 2.7% of the total time in the week. That is less than 3%. That is not. Okay, I realize it may not mean much if I'm just saying this, because to you it might seem too intense. But I have to put this in perspective. It is less than 3% of your week. I'll say it again. It is less than 3% of your week. In terms of the exercise, it is less than 3% of your week. So in terms of exercise, this is not intense. In fact, it is recommended. Okay, it's often touted that people should do at least an hour of exercise per day. Not non-exercise, not walking to the grocery store. Although I guess we could consider that exercise. But like, for example, vacuuming your house or something, some of this non-exercise activity. Actually devoting an hour towards exercise, it is recommended to do an hour per day. Now, I just have 4.5 hours in here, okay? So this is, in my opinion, nowhere near too intense, especially when you look at it as a percentage of the total time you have in a week. I'm just saying. So my recommendation, definitely keep the weight training in 3 times per week, maybe 4. You could probably do a little bit less cardio. You like doing more cardio, so you can keep the cardio in there. As a bare minimum, I would weight train twice per week, especially if you are older. Okay, now this person's not older, but as we get into our 40s and 50s, this all has bearing, and it's not one of those things where you can just make up for it. Like, you can't hit like 75 and be like, oh, I think I'll just start weight training. I'll tick down my age now. No, it compounds over time. So you want to make sure that you keep up with this over time, especially, I cannot stress enough, especially weight training, especially as we get into 40 and above. Okay, message of the day, as I ramble on here. Along the road to success, you can expect bumps, hurdles, breakdowns, mini failures, and moments where you feel like you want to give up. This is normal on the road to success. And the road to success is an ever ongoing road, right? It's an ever ongoing road. Your health, maintenance of your health, is an ongoing road of success. And it's normal to doubt yourself, and it's normal to think that it's not for you. It's normal to think that you can't do certain things, whatever it may be. But I want to remind you that this is all normal as we continue to progress. So I'll read it one more time. Along the road to success, you can expect bumps, hurdles, breakdowns, mini failures, and moments where you feel like you just want to give up. This is all normal on your path to success, on your path to further progression, on your path to maintenance or improvement of your health, right? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you all soon. See you guys.